The Cardinals' offense is silenced for the first time this season as they drop the series opener to the Mets. Does a lineup shuffle need to happen? This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Haffern, and on today's show, we've got the NL Central Roundup, always keeping you in the know of what's going on within the Cardinals division. We're going to check in on some of our former players and see how they're holding up in their new digs. Got the Cardinals 3 stars of the game, but we're going to start with a game breakdown from Monday's 4-2 loss to the Mets. I know we all got really excited, guilty as charged, got really excited about what we saw offensively from the team in that series against the Tampa Bay Rays, but you know, coming into the season, the common sentiment amongst pretty much anybody who watches this team was that the Cardinals would probably play more low-scoring games than they would shootouts, which is what we saw in that Rays series. And unfortunately, they're probably going to lose a majority of them because they just don't have the firepower. At least we don't think, though, that they have the firepower to keep up with some of these bigger and better teams. So, of course, in the first 3 games, you know, they make us all look stupid and they average over 7 runs per game. And no disrespect to the Rays, but they're not the Mets. The Mets are definitely considered a much better team and possess a much better pitching staff than Tampa Bay does. And on Monday, it showed as the Cardinals managed just 2 runs on 5 hits against the combination of Clay Holmes, Tobias Myers, Brooks Raley, and Devin Williams, St. Louis's own Devin Williams. He looked pretty darn good to me after having a rough year last year with the Yankees. And it wasn't your usual suspects that struggled. Almost the whole team had a tough time doing much of anything against the pitching staff for the Mets. Once again, the lineup had JJ at the top, followed by Herrera, Burley, Winn batting cleanup. Then it was Gorman, Walker, Church, Pages, and Victor Scott. And the 2 guys that have really struggled and really had a rough go so far against Tampa Bay were Herrera and Winn. And although Herrera did have a single in the 8th inning in this game, the 2 combined to do very little once again, going 1 for 7. And after the Mets took a 1-0 lead in that first inning, the Cardinals, they were able to answer right back. They got that leadoff walk by JJ, which you love. Get on base any way you can, buddy. Then you got Herrera, who taps out to third base. And granted, nice play by Bo Bichette over at third base to get him. Burley then comes through with that RBI single after JJ forced that balk. Had a really nice jump and forced the balk to get over to third base. Burley knocks him in. Okay, keep pitching to Burley. Go for it. But then Masyn Winn pours cold water on the inning with another strikeout, and then Gorman followed suit to end the threat with a strikeout as well. Masyn did work a 2-out walk in the 3rd inning, but then fly out, ground out. Herrera popped out and grounded out in his other 2 at-bats. Both of them are coming back from surgeries, all right? When you go through the lineup and you're like, all right, who had a tougher offseason than the rest of them? Masyn Winn and Ivan Herrera did. You know, Masyn had the knee thing, Herrera had the elbow, and then he had the knee flare-up. But neither one of them has looked all that great in the early going. They didn't even look that great in the spring either. So to have them come out of the gate as cold as they are, not really shocking. It's not. And maybe this is just who Masyn Winn is at the beginning of seasons. You know, there are some people that just start off the season cold. It happens all the time. I believe Arenado was a guy like that just always first month was just gross, and then he would go on a tear. But you know, he had a cold start last year, and this year he's 3 for 17 with 2 doubles, but no ribbies, 4 strikeouts, and he's doing that, no ribbies, mind you, doing that in the cleanup spot of this batting order, which makes it stand out even more about how bad it's been. Herrera, he ain't any better. 2 for 17. He's got a couple ribbies, has not walked, but has struck out only once. So at least he's putting the ball in play. These are the 2 guys that are surrounding what is your best hitter, you know, in Alec Burleson. And if I'm an opposing pitcher, I'm never throwing to Burley. I'm just not. If Masyn Winn is the guy that's going to be hitting behind Alec Burleson, I am going to take my chances with Masyn Winn all day, every day, instead of throwing to the Silver Slugger winner, who's had back-to-back good seasons. So I'm going to make Masyn Winn beat me. So I'm waiting on that. I'm waiting on that move where they're just walking Burley to get to Masyn Winn. Victor Scott also had a really fugly night, going over 3 with 3 strikeouts. All 3 of them were swinging. So at least he's not standing there watching it happen. He is swinging the bat, trying to get the ball in play. First 2 were on changeups, low and out of the zone. And then the last one was a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, which you would think would be very easy to hit. But after seeing changeups and stuff all night, he got gassed on that one. It was right down central, and he couldn't catch up to it. Maybe he just wasn't picking up the ball very well in the first night game at Busch Stadium. I don't know. But he now leads the team in whiffs with 6. But he's also tied for second on the team in hits with 5. So there's the yin and the yang going on there with Victor. But as we know, his speed is such a difference maker when he is on base. And if he puts it in play, he can cause havoc just because people can't screw up. If a ground ball comes to anybody, if they don't field it cleanly, Victor Scott's going to be on base. So makes people rush their mechanics and make some stupid unforced errors. So he's got to put the ball in play more. Can't be striking out like that. Nathan Church also, my guy, had a forgettable night. I'll admit it. When he's good, I'll admit it. When he's bad, I'll admit it as well. 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts. So not a great night for Nathan. Pitching wise, Kyle Leahy wasn't great, but he wasn't awful. I'm not going to sit here and bitch and moan about what Kyle Leahy did. He just kind of appeared to run out of gas in that last inning. The Jared Young at bat was the one that kind of put him over, 7 pitches long, which ended in an RBI double and ultimately knocked him out of the game, trailing 3-1 at that point. And at 79 pitches, he admitted as much after the game that, he's still getting his body used to starting again, and will continue to build up so that he can pitch better, longer moving forward. Matt Swanson replaced him. We know things haven't gone well for him thus far. He got the first 2 outs, but then he walks the number 9 hitter, which is never a great idea. I mean, come on, man. That's the number 9 hitter for a reason. Flips the lineup over, which means you got to face Lindor again. Ends up hitting Lindor on the foot. Then 4 straight balls to Juan Soto, which weren't even close, and he walks in the 4th run before getting Bichette to line out to Walker in right field. And there's times in a game where you are just not going to want to challenge Juan Soto. Like, why let him blow that game wide open? So you pitch carefully around him. I didn't have a tough time with that decision. It wasn't like a very competitive sequence. Like the pitches, it wasn't like he was nibbling or anything. Like he was genuinely, it seemed like he was doing the intentional walk to Juan Soto. So, you would like to have it be a little more competitive than that. But at the same time, you don't want him ripping a double or even worse, put one over the wall, grand slam, and then the game's really into the Mets corner. So you could see Swanson was fighting it out there. But give him credit, looked a lot better. Ollie brought him back out for another inning, and he looked a lot better in that second inning of work. Got the mechanics down right, but the damage was done. And trailing 4-1, and the offense, not doing much, all locked up. It became a pretty dull and easy win for the New York Mets on Monday night. The Cardinals have now lost 10 of their last 12 against the Mets. 10 of their last 12. They keep catching them at the beginning of the season. Remember last year, the second half of the season, when the Mets were going in the toilet and they couldn't win anything. And the Cardinals had already played them. They're 6 times, I think, that they face them. And I think they lost 5 or 6 or something like that against them. So has not been a lot of fun to play the Mets recently for the Cardinals. But great thing about baseball, you got another chance to take them out here on Tuesday. But even in a loss, we don't like to stay negative here. Obviously, things didn't go well at Busch last night. Even in a loss, you got to find the positives. And we're going to do that. We're going to do that next. I got the 3 stars of the game coming your way on Locked On Cardinals. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It is you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. And now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. MLB season is back. You can feel it. We got fresh starts. We got new expectations. And, of course, those first cracks of the bat are always nice to hear. Whether it's checking in on a breakout rookie like J.J. Weatherholt or witnessing Nolan Gorman blasting balls over the wall, there's nothing like being in the ballpark for the action. And the only problem is getting tickets can feel like a grind. Long queues, surprise fees, and prices jumping at checkout. And that's where Gametime is there to be your hero. The Gametime app gives the fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences, and you do it in just a few taps. Very simple to use. You get the Gametime guarantee on top of this, which means you get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time, which is very important, at the best price, which is way important. And the best part is the fees that you see are included in the price that you're looking at. You know, what you see is what you pay, period. No added stuff going in there. You get the seat view feature, which is awesome because you can get that panoramic view of exactly where you're sitting, which is kind of a big deal when you're in a big ballpark. You can also try the zone deals to save some money. No stress, no hidden fees, just great seats and minutes. And that's what makes it so easy to decide last minute to go up and hit a game like tonight's. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Baseball finally back, and to celebrate, I'm giving you a full month of the Everydayer Club for free. All you got to do is go to Locked On STL, cardinals.supercast.com, and use the code FINALLY, which is FINALLY. You'll unlock every episode. It's going to be ad-free. You get access to our private listener group chat. Tap the link in the show notes. Use code FINALLY to claim your free month. Absolutely free. Give it a try. See if it's something you like. Time for our Cardinals 3 stars of the game. We do not pick anyone off of the opposition's teams because we don't like those people. Okay? Not as people, but as competitors. We don't want anything to do with them. Bob Gibson mentality. We don't give them any credit. We only talk about our boys. So we're going to focus on the Cardinals. #1 star of the game for the loss on Monday. I'm going to give it to our first baseman, Alec Burleson, who continues to swing the lumber quite well. 2 for 4 with an RBI single in the first. He gets a double in the third. Burley is now hitting .400 on this young season and leads the team in batting average, hits, second in OBP. He's got 5 ribbies, which is second most in the National League. If you can find someone to hit behind him that strikes a little bit of fear into the opposition, imagine the impact that could have on the type of pitches Alec Burleson sees. Like, I'm flabbergasted. The teams so far, when I say teams, it's been 2, but the people are pitching that to Burley still. I'm walking him all day if I'm on the other side of the field and managing my team. Like, I'm not letting Alec Burleson hit the ball. I'm just not, if I can help it. So, especially when you got a guy that's hitting under 200 hitting behind him. So, we'll see how the Mets adjust to that. The Rays kept throwing to him, and, the Mets threw to him last night in that first inning, which was a little surprising. But we'll see. We'll see how they adjust to how well Burley's seeing the ball and hitting the ball so far. #2 star of the game, I'm going to give this one up to Nolan Gorman. Nolan Gorman, man, moonshot that literally would have hit the roof at Busch Stadium if Busch Stadium had a roof. Like, that thing was way up there, and it just kept going and going and going. And then we're like almost 420 feet away from home plate when it finally plops down and lands for his second dinger of the season. Unfortunately, there wasn't nobody on base at the time, but that now gives Nolan Gorman 5 RBIs on the season, tying Burley for the team lead and second most in the NL, as I mentioned. Gorman has yet to take a walk this season, but he has only struck out 3 times, which is more in line with what we saw this spring. He was taking better at bats, being a little more choosy on what exactly he was swinging at. He was making more contact, and with that, you were seeing more production. Less strikeouts is what we wanted, and he has delivered in that sense so far here in 2026. Rob Raines dropped this nugget. Gorman with the RBI in each of his first 4 games of the season, tied for the longest streak to begin a season since Alan Craig drove in a run in the first 5 games of the 2012 season. The team record, in case you're wondering, is 7 games by Keith Hernandez in 1981. So he's not going to reach that while Hernandez is in town with the Mets. But at the same point, kind of what we call a coinky-dink that Hernandez is the one that's got it. But Nolan Gorman, not a whole lot to complain about so far here early on in the season. Third start of the game, I'm going to go to the bullpen on this one. Bullpen hasn't gotten a whole lot of love because as a group, they haven't been very good. But not everybody has had a rough time. And one of those guys threw in this game. My third start of the game, I'm going to give this up to George Soriano, the reliever who was acquired from the Nationals for Andre Granillo. Was able to slow down that Mets offense in the 8th and 9th innings to at least stop them from scoring anymore, to give the Cardinals a glimmer of hope to get back in this thing. He allowed 1 hit. He had 1 walk, but that was an intentional walk to Juan Soto. Just his second appearance so far this season, but so far so good for George Soriano. And with all of the crooked numbers that the bullpen has put up so far, he's been a bright spot. Again, he's only got 2 appearances so far, so I'm not going crazy. This ain't the next Lee Smith or anything, but they certainly have found something. He was very good in the spring, and so far so good here in the regular season. And again, I know we're upset. You know, Swanson didn't get the job done when he came in to hold that lead to 3-1. But at the same time, he was better in that second inning, and Ollie's going to be moving things around. I mean, we get this in our head that, you know, that the lineup has to change, or that the bullpen, like, it's not going to change. You know, that's just the way it is. The rest of it's not. He's going to push the buttons, and he's going to move people around, and he'll massage this roster and figure out what's best for the team. Honorable mentions going out to Jordan Walker, our guy, 1 for 3 with a walk. Jordan now hitting 385 on the season with 3 walks and only 1 strikeout. That's right. 3 walks, 1 strikeout. Jordan Walker having a great start to go along with a 500 OBP, 769 slug, 1.269 OPS. All 3 of those last numbers I gave you lead the club. They're higher than Alec Burleson's right now. So Jordan Walker, again, will there be any lineup changes for Tuesday's game? And I don't mean benching people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying a little bit of shuffling in the lineup. Will the lineup card look a little different? Does Masyn Winn really need to be hitting cleanup when you've got a guy in Jordan Walker who is seeing the ball so well right now? Swinging it. It's got great confidence going right now. Would moving Walker to cleanup be the smart move? Or is that something where, you know, you're kind of handling Jordan with some kid gloves here, and you don't want him to go to a cleanup spot and then get out of whack because he's trying to do too much because, hey, I'm the cleanup hitter. I'm the one who's got to do all this stuff now. Is it better just to let him continue his journey here, do what he's doing lower in the lineup, and having success? Does that make more sense? You know, Ollie knows these guys better than I do. So you want to trust the process and know that he knows his guys and knows what's best for them. Like, Ollie's not going out there trying to lose games. So if he thinks he needs to make a move there, I'm sure he will. But it would be nice to have someone in the 2 and 4 spots of this lineup right now that we're hitting above the Mendoza line at 200. Neither one of Herrera or Winn are there just yet. But of course, we're only 4 games in. Not hitting the panic button, which is still safely down here. I'm not bringing it out yet. I'm not pushing it yet. But I'm a guy that likes to move things around quicker than, you know, a normal major league manager. So we'll see. We'll see. Because everyone else in the lineup is hitting over 200, except for the guys in the 2 and 4 spots, which are normally where 2 of your best 3 hitters are sitting. So I would shuffle that ish up, but that's just me. Up next, we're going to bounce around the league a little bit, see what else happened in the NL Central. We're also going to check in on some of our former Cardinals just to see how things are going. This is Locked On Cardinals. It is tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment, that's not really the most convenient thing. Sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, you're emailing back and forth, wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade because Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert and your documents are going to get uploaded straight into your TurboTax app, and it's going to happen right on the spot. And just like that, you're going to be done. Your TurboTax expert will work to get you every dollar you deserve, while also you get real-time notifications as you get to go about your day. You don't have to sit in there. It's the relief of walking in, meeting a real person, and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to TurboTax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. Once again, TurboTax.com/local. That will find a store near you. Make sure you book your appointment today. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Let's check in on some of our former Cardinals that are around the league. And, I kind of want to focus on the guys that we just moved this offseason because that's kind of fresh in our minds. But we'll also dip into some of the guys that were here before that. But let's start in Seattle, where Brendan Donovan, I don't know, he's off to a decent start with the Mariners, hitting .444, 2 home runs, 4 ribbies, a stolen base. I guess that's good if you're into that sort of thing. Honestly, did we really expect anything less from Donnie? We knew he was going to go wherever he ended up getting traded to, that he was going to go there, and people are going to start to recognize the talent that Brendan Donovan is, and that's happening with the Seattle Mariners. He's easily been their best hitter so far this season on that lineup that's filled with studs like Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez and company. And it has been Brendan Donovan who's been their best pitcher so far. Or best hitter so far. So you're welcome, Seattle. Enjoy and be kind to him. Let's go to Boston, where Sonny Gray and Wilson Contreras are dwelling, and they are off to Boston as a whole, off to an ugly start. 1-3, got smacked around by Houston on Monday. Willie is hitting cleanup. And he was in the cleanup spot again on Monday night, 0-for-4 with 2 strikeouts. He's now hitting 77 to start the season. 77. He's 1-for-13. He does not have a home run. He does not have an RBI. He has walked 4 times, but he's also struck out 5 times. So not a great start for Willie in Beantown. As for Sonny Gray, he has made 1 start thus far, lasted just 4 innings. He allowed 4 runs on 6 hits, 1 dinger, and had 5 Ks on Saturday in their loss against the Cincinnati Reds. So not a great start for either one of them so far in a Boston Red Sox uniform. The Arizona Diamondbacks picked up their first win of the season on Monday night by outscoring the Tigers 9-6, beat up on Justin Verlander. How did Nolan Arenado do, though? Yeah, Nolan playing third base over there for them. 1-for-5 in the game with a run scored, but on the season, Nato is hitting 125. That was his second hit of the year. He is now 2-for-16. He does not have a home run. He does not have an RBI, but I've seen some of the defensive highlights from Nolan Arenado. We knew he still had the glove, but the bat continues to be a serious problem for Nolan Arenado. Miles Michaelis made 1 start in Chicago. He's over with the Washington Nationals now, in case you didn't know. Was in Chicago, lasted 5 innings, gave up 6 runs on 6 hits, 1 home run. Walked 3. He struck out 4 in defense of the Lizard King. Only 4 of those runs were earned. Wasn't getting a lot of help from his defense on that day, but, a normal kind of Michaelis line. 5 innings. He gets you to 5, but, you're losing by a decent amount by the time he gets out of there. So good luck with that, Washington. Ryan Helsley, he's having a nice start in Baltimore. He's got 2 saves and 2 appearances, 4 strikeouts. He has allowed a hit in each game, which was always the funny thing, that it didn't matter. Ryan Helsley was going to have a runner on base at some point in almost every inning that he pitches, said whether it was a base hit, whether he walked somebody, it was going to happen. And but so far, unscathed, has come out clean with 2 saves so far. Paul Goldschmidt with the Yankees, second season with the Bronx Bombers, only got 5 at bats. He's definitely a bench guy now, 1-for-5 with a run scored. So not a whole lot to talk about with Goldie, but that's kind of what's going on with the guys around the league. As far as the NL Central goes, got to pay attention to the enemies here in the division. Brewers lost their first game on Monday to the Tampa Bay Rays, who had just beaten the Cardinals. Rays beat them by a score of 3-2. They scored in the top of the 9th inning to take that lead. Yandy Diaz, who absolutely murdered the Cardinals, was 2-for-4 in this game and is now hitting .550 to start the year. So it wasn't just the Cardinals. He's hitting. He goes to Milwaukee and boom, 2 more hits. So Yandy Diaz off to a scorching start. Red shut out the Pirates 2-0 behind starter Chase Burns to move to 3-1 on the year. They are tied with the Brewers at the top of the division. Pirates fall to 1-3. Wonder what Pittsburgh's feeling right now, because there was all this hope that with all these changes and additions that they finally made, they got all these young guys coming up. They're ready to rock and come out the gate 1-3. Not exactly what they were hoping for. Cubs ended up beating up on the Angels 7-2. New starter Edward Cabrera taught 6 shutout innings. Ian Happ hit his 3rd home run of the season, which leads the National League. So Cubs now at 2-2. But Ian Happ, we know how he kills the Cardinals. So good to see him doing it against somebody else for a change. Maybe it's the red in the uniforms that he's just like, ooh, because I know he beats up on the Cincinnati Reds as well. So maybe if you're wearing red, bad idea. Ian Happ will destroy you. Mets and Cardinals lock horns again tonight. Andre Palante will get his first start of the season against Kodai Senga. First pitch will be at 6:45 St. Louis time. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give us a follow on X at LO_. We've got _Cardinals. I don't know why I forgot to say that at the end. LO_Cardinals. TikTok, Instagram. You can find us on there as well. Locked On Cardinals. Like, subscribe on YouTube. If you never miss an episode, be sure to try that Everydayer Club built for you. You get Locked On Cardinals ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Full free month available now by using the code FINALLY, FINALLY. Head to LockedOnSTLCardinals.supercast.com to join the club. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel on audio. Make sure your second listen is Locked On MLB. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully talking about a win on Locked On Cardinals.